People believed the big Jeddah Tower project was forgotten, but in late September, many news outlets said that they started working on it again in Saudi Arabia. They began building it 10 years ago, but for a while nobody was working on it after it was finished. Now they're picking up the work again, and this tower is supposed to be even taller than the one that holds the record right now. Presentation of the Jeddah Tower. The exact height of the Jeddah Tower isn't known yet, but it's expected to be at least 1.7 meters taller than the port city of Jeddah. According to Middle East Business Intelligence, several companies have been asked to take over this big project. The media reports mention names like the Swedish construction company Skanska and Samsung's Korean engineering and construction subsidiary. But even if they start working on it, finishing the Jeddah Tower is not guaranteed. Going beyond the symbolic 1-kilometer height is a huge challenge in the history of construction. There are many challenges to overcome, and some experts in the field are still wondering if it's really possible. Things like the stability of the structure, its ability to withstand the wind, and even the materials used to make the skyscraper environmentally friendly are all technical challenges that need to be addressed. In this video, we'll explore the first challenge of such a construction project: stabilizing a 1 km tower. The first big challenge in building something as tall as the Jeddah Tower is making sure it stays stable. You see, the taller a skyscraper is, the more it gets pushed around by the wind and the heavy weight of the building itself on its base. This tower is really tall, like more than 3 Eiffel Towers stacked on top of each other, and it's super heavy, weighing as much as the Golden Gate Bridge. So the team led by Adrian Smith had to come up with a plan for the shape and foundations of the tower that could handle all this. What they suggested is a kind of lopsided Y-shaped tower, similar to the Burj Khalifa. This tripod shape is like a strong backbone that helps the tower reach such a great height while keeping it stable. It's like having a solid pillar right in the middle of the building. To make sure the tower doesn't tip over and stays firmly in place without digging too deep into the ground, they needed to find stable rock in the soil. In Jeddah, the ground is mostly made of this crumbly limestone, sand, and gravel, so they had to do a lot of studies to figure out how deep they could safely support the tower. The solution they came up with was to drill 270 pillars into the ground, made of really strong concrete that can handle a lot of pressure. These pillars go down as far as 110 meters in some places, which is way deeper than the foundations of famous buildings like the Empire State Building or the Burj Khalifa. This whole process started in June 2013 and involved around 100 workers, working day and night 6 days a week for 6 months. It was a complex and never-before-seen drilling technique, making sure the base of the Jeddah Tower was solid and secure. Choice of materials. The second big challenge for the Jeddah Tower is figuring out what materials to use so that it's both strong and doesn't cost too much. The folks in charge wanted to use regular materials like regular concrete because it's cheaper and easier to work with compared to the fancier high-performance concrete that needs specially trained workers. To save money, the architects, led by Adrian Smith, chose a proven solution: reinforced concrete walls. But here's where things get tricky. When you're building something so tall like the Jeddah Tower, getting the concrete up there is a challenge. The best pumps in the market can only reach a certain height, and after that, you have to transport it in buckets hanging from cranes. This makes the whole process slower and more complicated. To deal with this, the team decided to use steel for the upper part of the tower, like they did with the Burj Khalifa. This top section won't have people living in it. It'll be a massive 350-meter spire that holds all the technical stuff for the tower. It's kind of like a big decorative point at the top. This upper part is similar to the world's highest observation deck, standing at 630 meters above sea level. It's a bit like the structures you see in places like New York's Hudson Yards or Dubai's Burj Al Arab. Overall, constructing the Jeddah Tower is going to need a lot of materials, about 500,000 cubic meters of concrete and nearly 880,000 tons of steel. To put it in perspective, that's like the weight of 10 Eiffel Towers made of steel, which is quite a hefty amount. Wind resistance. When it comes to really tall buildings, there's a crucial factor to consider: how well the structure can handle the wind. As we all know, the wind gets stronger the higher up you go. For instance, a 500-meter skyscraper needs to be 60 times more resistant to wind than a 60-meter building. To deal with this, special structures are needed to keep the tower stable and to make sure people inside don't feel the building swaying. The architects and engineers of the Jeddah Tower project used computers and models to simulate how the wind will affect the building. These simulations showed that, in strong winds, the top of the tower could move up to 2 meters from its center. But according to Adrian Smith's team, these slight movements would be okay for the tower's structure and the comfort of the people inside. They've taken measures to ensure that the tower remains stable and secure, even when faced with strong winds. How to save energy. To prevent the giant Jeddah Tower from turning into an energy guzzler, it was crucial to reduce the reliance on air conditioning, especially in a hot country like Saudi Arabia. The tower was smartly planned with energy efficiency in mind, focusing on ways to control its temperature without using too much energy. They thought about how the sun moves around the building throughout the day. By modeling the sun's path, they figured out which parts of the tower get the most sunlight. Then they designed the building with strategic notches or cuts on its sides. These notches create shadows that protect the tower from the direct sun, almost like creating natural sunshades. These shaded areas also serve as terraces for the people living or working in the tower. But that's not all. The outer walls of the tower are made of special glass that's really good at keeping heat out. It's like having a built-in sunblock for the building. This glass is coated to block infrared radiation, which is what carries heat. The result is a building that stays cool without relying too much on air conditioning. The Jeddah Tower is planned to have 530 apartments, 200 hotel rooms, and an observation terrace that will be the highest one ever built. It's not just about being tall. It's also about being smart and efficient with energy use. Designing adapted elevators. The Jeddah Tower is like a whole city in the sky, and they need special elevators to move people around its 167 floors and 530,000 square meters of space. They've planned a fleet of 57 elevators, and these elevators are designed to be fast, reaching a speed of 10 meters per second. This speed helps avoid that uncomfortable feeling when the elevator starts moving quickly. To make this happen, they're using a new kind of cable made of carbon fiber. Traditional steel cables would be too heavy, especially for heights beyond 500 meters. These new cables are not only stronger but also last twice as long. This technology also reduces the overall weight that the elevators need to lift, including the weight of the cabins and cables. Each elevator can carry 26 people, totaling a load of 2 tons. If they used the traditional steel cables, it would be like lifting 27 tons, equivalent to the weight of a truck. The Jeddah Tower aims to break records, showcasing the ambition of today's architects and builders to be the best. However, there are questions about how far we can keep pushing these records. Some experts, like French specialist Jérôme Kievro, wonder if we're reaching the limit of what humans can build. According to him, going beyond 1,500 meters will be really tough. It's not just about finding solid ground for the foundations, but also having the money to build and maintain these massive towers. The Burj Khalifa, for example, cost over $1.5 billion and required 22 million work hours and up to 7,500 employees at its peak. Even the daily operations are mind-boggling. The Burj Khalifa needs 36 megawatts of power during peak times, which is like what a city of 880,000 people would use. And it takes 4 months just to clean all the glass on its facades, covering 120,000 square meters. While the desire to break records is strong, not many companies might be ready for the financial challenges. Still, if the race to the sky continues, it's likely to happen in the Middle East and Asia. These regions are in fierce competition, and they're likely to keep pushing for more mega projects in the coming decades. Impact on the world in Dubai. So with all the recent updates on the Jeddah Tower, what does it mean for the rest of the world? Well, think about Dubai. They've held the title of having the world's tallest building for 14 years, thanks to the Burj Khalifa. Now, with the Jeddah Tower resuming construction, Dubai might not be too thrilled about potentially losing that title to a neighboring country. Dubai had big plans with the Dubai Creek Tower, aiming to be the world's first kilometer-high structure, even taller than the Jeddah Tower. However, there's a catch. The Creek Tower isn't considered a skyscraper because less than half of its height is for people to live or work. So while it would be the tallest structure, Saudi Arabia could still snatch the record for the tallest building. This rivalry between Jeddah and Dubai could spark a race to build even taller structures globally. If one finishes, the other might plan something taller, and this cycle could continue elsewhere. In a few decades, a 1 kilometer tall building might not be as mind-blowing as it seems today. What's your take on the Jeddah Tower? Do you think it will finally be completed this time? Share your thoughts in the comments below. Thanks for watching the video. And if you found it informative, please like and subscribe to Blueprint Journeys for similar content. We look forward to sharing more knowledge with you in the future. Until then, take care.